Welcome, Psychotic Society. Well, how are you? I myself am fine. It's been a while. I normally don't really get on camera much. I've been very busy building a crypto empire. But this video I felt is kind of needed for me to get on the camera and allow people to interact with me a little bit. Perhaps in the comment section, perhaps subscribing to the channel. We're close to 1,000 subscribers. We've been doing this for quite a while. And I just had a really fun chess video for you today. This video is opening logic. And so there's no real patterns here and things like that that you can use to kind of like try to cheat your opponent. There's just like kind of fundamental chess in the 1200 rated range. So I hope you can, get some value from this. So let's open up with a basic opening. I normally push the king's pawn. So let's go. So I'm white here. Now, I don't care what my opponent's doing at the moment because it's just kind of a random move. So we're just playing the first few developmental moves. So right off the bat, the opponent is showing a bit of aggression, right? He's threatening to try to, push the pawn to d4, or take, on e4 and threaten the knight. Okay, so how do we deal with this? Let's look at that. Also, one other thing to note, his bishop is potentially going to come down to g4 and threaten the knight as well and pin the knight to the queen. But I love this when people do this because it really ultimately transposes into a meaningless aggression. I'll show you how to deal with this aggression quite easily. So we are going to disregard the threat of the pawn, and we're going to invite him to threaten the knight. And also, we really want to actually stop d4 is the focus because we want to open the dark bishop line and get a little bit of space in the center. So, okay, so next move, here we go. Now we get the actual intent behind his formation. We get some pressure. We also get his dark queen coming to a5 for potential check. So you see the lines he's creating, right? You got pressure on the knight, you have a queen check, and then you have bishop pin coming. So how do we deal with that? Basically, we now move from kind of a passive state to an offensive state. So we counter. We are now playing for the pawn. And basically, we want to win that material back. And this is where the actual game starts, okay? So here we go. And now we're playing chess, right? He's playing for the pawn to secure it. He wants to, get to the end of the game one pawn ahead, obviously. And then promote that one single pawn to a queen in an epic win. But unfortunately, that doesn't work with me because I do not allow players to play their game. The goal is to not allow players to play their game. So the fight ensues for the pawn. We are going full throttle, all hands on deck. And obviously, he can build out on this. He can bring his knight out. But here we go. Instead of him, continuing the fight for the pawn, he wants to open up some lines, also threatening to take d4, threatening the knight on c3, revealing a queen trade potential, some possible pins with the black bishop on b4 against the knight on c3. So all these little tricky stuff. So let's see how I deal with this. I disregard it. And now, all of a sudden, we actually have a line, bishop c4, threatening f7. And you have fried liver, transposed you know, we could drop the knight in there, threaten the queen and the rook. We can check with the bishop and force the king to move and blow his castle up. Not only that, winning the pawn material and then snagging the horse and trading that away if we want. But let's see what I do here. I think it's really fun. So obviously he feels the pressure now. So the pressure's mounting center. If you notice, I didn't play into his game a whole lot. He's trying to create pressure, and I'm kind of inviting the aggression, and then I'm meeting that aggression with my own counter offensive aggression. I think that's the way you really play chess, when you really understand the logic versus just trying to memorize things. I think there's nothing wrong with learning cool things, maybe help you think out of the box, but every now and again it's better to you know, understand what the opponent's really trying to do, so that way you can kind of play against his own will, in a way, a game within a game, as it were. So right now I'm just moving h3 to protect the bishop g4 move, threatening the queen. Obviously we don't want that. All right, so here we go. Now we have some good stuff here. Here is where it gets really fun. My knight is being threatened on c3, and not only is he going to take the knight, he's going to threaten the queen, right? It's kind of force me to take that queen. So this is a more serious threat. It has to be addressed. So let's see how we do this. So now we finally take that pawn. Okay, there we go. Now not only do we go back up the material, we are not fully up just yet, understand that, but we have two knights very well placed, and they're supporting each other. Also our threat on f7 is real. That still exists, and I still have to get a few things in position to really create my own like a more serious threat to him, so that way he has to respect my gameplay. So let's see how this plays out. Here we go. So now we knew that check was always there. So this is how we deal with it. First we block it. Obviously he's going to capture with the pawn. That's completely obvious. So now is the perfect time to castle. Okay, as soon as he captures, we castle. And what this is going to do is allow us to do a few things. We're going to line up our rook on the column of e1. We're going to threaten a revealed check with the knight. So let's follow through with this and see what the player does. Obviously he has a few little options here. So he finally captures the knight, and if you're going to notice something, that I'm not going to immediately capture that bishop, okay? And you'll see why in a second, because I don't want to remove that threat of the knight on f7. I want to hold that pressure there. So instead, I'm going to move out the rook and threaten the bishop. The bishop's pinned now. So we have some pinning of our own finally. The bishop that once threatened us and is kind of like been bullying the game is now succumbing to our own type of offense. So let's see how he handles this. Obviously he has to deal with it. So he's just capturing material here, you know, from c3 to b2. We're going to capture that. Now we obviously want to capture that and open up that black line. So we got two great diagonals with the bishop. If you look at that, it's fantastic diagonals. His king's exposed. He can't castle through the queen right now. Bishop's under fire. Our whole center's blown open. At this point, I'm assuming he understands that he's got problems. Okay, so let's see what he does. And right now, he wants to castle. That's the bottom line. Now, just before we continue with this video, just understand, had he not made this knight move, had he not done this, and he captured my knight on g5, I would have simply captured the bishop, okay, with the rook. And what that would have done was put him in a really bad spot, because that would have opened up a two-column, almost checkmate situation. and then I would have slid the bishop over to a3, and that bishop would have been pinned to the king. I would have been threatening mate. It wouldn't have been good for him. So this is why he opts to set himself up for the castle rather than to capture the knight. But that's okay, because I simply capture the bishop. And again, now he's really setting himself up. He's got protection. He's obviously planning to castle out, but here comes a devastating check. And this check right here to d6 is tremendous. He's got problems. He can't capture it. He has to deal with it. So after that move, we get a royal fork, as if I almost planned it the whole entire time. I assure you, I just want you guys to know, I assure you that I am not a chess master. I'm not a smurf. I'm not smurfing the account. I'm just a 1200 player. But I tell you, that's my rating. I really, truly believe that I'm really 1800. I've beat chess engines that were 1850 and 2000. So I really do understand a lot about the game. And in this position, the player, when I capture the queen, he does forfeit. As you can see, I'm hitting the forward button, and there's nowhere to go forward because he forfeited. And the match ended in less than 2 minutes on his side. So he took almost 2 minutes to think, and I did all my moves with under a minute. So just understand that not only am I moving and understanding at a very advanced level, I'm also doing it very quickly. So just to note, again, chess ratings don't always reflect online, because you don't know who's cheating. You don't know who's actually higher than what they are in lower brackets. And like I said, I truly believe that I could be comfortably seated in the 1500, 16 bracket range. But again, I'm just an average player. But the point of this video is to really kind of highlight, and I didn't really want to rush through the videos because we've had over 1,800 views on our YouTube shorts. Okay, and what that means is that people do enjoy chess content. I enjoy chess content. We you know, I've watched a lot of Gotham Chess. Obviously, Eric Rosen, the Botez sisters, the Botez Gambit obviously has become quite legendary. So I just feel that it's been great to be able to kind of get behind the camera and just hang out with you guys. So thanks for supporting the channel.